All right, so get ready because we're diving deep into one of the wildest stories in hip-hop.
Yeah.
Tekashi 6ix9ine, the rapper who went from topping the charts
hmm
to testifying against his own gang, and you already know it, he's been arrested again.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys want to unpack the latest on this arrest?
Definitely.
We've got a stack of fresh articles,
I love it.
hotter than a diss track aimed at 6ix9ine himself.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to be good. This arrest for violating his supervised release
Right.
is just the latest chapter in a saga full of twists and turns.
Okay, so for those who haven't been following every single beat of this drama,
Right.
6ix9ine, whose real name is Daniel Hernandez, first blew up back in 2017.
Yeah.
But by 2018, he was caught up in a massive federal case.
Huge case. And he was hit with some serious charges. Racketeering,
Oh, wow.
drug trafficking, weapons charges, the works.
Yeah.
Racketeering essentially means being part of a criminal organization, in this case, the Nine Trey Gangsta Bloods,
Right.
that engages in a pattern of illegal activities. And 6ix9ine was facing over 30 years behind bars.
30 years, that's a long time.
A long time.
But then he made a move that shocked pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
He cut a deal with the feds and agreed to testify against his own gang.
Yeah, and he didn't hold back.
Wow.
He named names and gave up details leading to several of his former associates pleading guilty.
Yeah, he basically threw his crew under the bus.
Wow.
This sparked a huge debate about the ethics of snitching.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine being in 6ix9ine's shoes. You're facing decades behind bars, and the only way out
Right,
is to turn on people you were once close to.
right.
What would you do?
It's a tough question, and there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
Some argue that cooperating with law enforcement is a betrayal,
Right.
especially in a culture that values loyalty and street code.
Yeah.
Others say that self-preservation is a powerful instinct, and you do what you have to do to survive.
And let's not forget, the Nine Trey Gangsta Bloods aren't a small-time crew.
No.
They're a serious criminal organization.
Oh, yeah.
So 6ix9ine was taking a real risk by testifying against them.
Absolutely, a risk that ultimately paid off.
Yeah.
His cooperation led to a reduced sentence, and he was released from prison in 2020 after serving less than 2 years.
And guess what? He jumped right back into his music career. He even performed at big events,
I know.
like Miami Bash 2021, showing he wasn't going to let prison define him, talk about a comeback story. But then things took another turn.
Then things took a turn. Fast forward to January of this year, 2024, and he's arrested again in the Dominican Republic.
What?
This time, it's for an alleged assault on his then-girlfriend rapper, Yelin Lamas Viral.
Now, this is where things get even more interesting.
Absolutely.
This new arrest for violating his supervised release happened here in New York,
Okay.
and he was due in federal court today, October 29th. We still don't know exactly what he did to violate those terms.
Supervised release basically means that even though he's out of prison, he's still under the watchful eye of the legal system and has to follow certain rules. Could this new arrest be related to the incident in the Dominican Republic?
You mean like maybe he wasn't supposed to leave the country? That's certainly a possibility. It could also be something completely new or even a technicality from his previous release terms.
Yeah, it's a real puzzle.
It is a puzzle.
Yeah, it really is a legal puzzle.
It is. It's crazy. And remember, he was facing those drug trafficking charges, too.
Oh, yeah.
Those are no joke.
No, drug trafficking is a serious offense.
Right.
With hefty penalties, it involves production, transportation, or sale of illegal drugs, and the feds had a mountain of evidence against him and his associates.
But he managed to dodge a much longer sentence
Yeah,
by cooperating, which is a whole other ethical can of worms in itself.
absolutely right. 6ix9ine's decision to cooperate with the authorities definitely played a role.
Yeah.
In his early release, he was facing decades.
Right.
But ended up serving less than 2 years. However, that cooperation came at a cost, right?
Of course.
He became a target for criticism, labeled a snitch. Yeah.
By many within the hip-hop community.
Some people saw him as someone who betrayed the code of the streets,
Right.
while others viewed him as someone just trying to survive a difficult situation. It really divided opinions.
It really did. And it raises that important question about the ethics
Yeah.
of cooperation with law enforcement, especially when it comes to gang-related activity.
Right.
Is it a betrayal of loyalty, a necessary evil, or a calculated move for self-preservation?
Right.
There are so many angles to consider.
And then you have to wonder, what does it say about the criminal justice system itself?
Right.
That a high-profile figure like 6ix9ine can seemingly maneuver his way through it,
Yeah.
cutting deals and serving less time than others involved in the same crimes.
It's a reminder that the justice system isn't always straightforward.
Right.
There are legal strategies at play that can significantly impact the outcome of a case,
Yeah.
especially for those who have resources and high-powered legal teams.
It makes you think, doesn't it? But at the end of the day, 6ix9ine, despite his controversial actions,
Is still a person navigating a complex and often dangerous world.
absolutely, he's made choices, good and bad, that have led him to this point.
Yeah.
And now we're all waiting to see what consequences he might face for this latest arrest.
Speaking of consequences, what are the potential legal ramifications here?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was already on supervised release,
Well,
remember?
I know he was. Could this mean more prison time?
It could. It's definitely a possibility.
It is violating the terms of supervised release is taken very seriously by the courts.
Right.
It's essentially breaking a contract with the legal system, demonstrating a disregard
Oh, wow.
for the conditions set for reintegration into society.
So are we talking about a slap on the wrist a few months, or could he be looking at serious time again?
It's hard to say at this point. The severity of the violation will
Right.
be a major factor in determining the consequences if it's something minor.
Okay.
A judge might issue a warning or tighten the restrictions of his release.
But if it's something more serious, like a new crime,
Right.
or a blatant disregard for the rules, then what?
Then he could very well be facing a return to prison.
Wow.
And remember, he was initially facing over 30 years. A judge could, in theory,
Yeah.
impose a significant portion of that original sentence if they believe the violation warrants it.
Wow. That's a lot to consider. So we're essentially in a holding pattern, waiting for more information to understand the scope of this violation, right?
Exactly. That information could come from official court documents,
Right.
statements from law enforcement, or even leaks to the media.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waiting game for now, but one that could have a huge impact on 6ix9ine's future.
This is starting to feel like a legal thriller,
Yeah.
full of twists and turns. What do you think will happen next? Will he face serious consequences?
Oh, man.
Or find a way to navigate this latest challenge?
Well, considering his history, it's anyone's guess.
Right.
But one thing is certain, this story is far from over.
Yeah.
And we'll be watching closely to see what unfolds next.
And speaking of cliffhangers,
Yeah.
let's talk about the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, the internet is rarely silent when it comes to a figure like 6ix9ine,
Right.
especially with all this legal drama swirling around him. What's the general reaction been like?
It's been a whirlwind of opinions, as you might expect. Social media is buzzing.
Yeah.
Some are condemning him, some are defending him,
Yeah.
and others are just grabbing their metaphorical popcorn and watching the drama unfold.
You know, it's interesting. There's definitely a segment of the population
Uh-huh.
that seems to be reveling in this.
Yeah.
Like they see this arrest
Yeah.
as some sort of karmic retribution
Right.
for his past actions.
Oh, yeah, definitely that element. But on the other hand,
Right.
you have people who firmly believe in second chances.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of past mistakes, they point to his efforts to rebuild his career,
Yeah.
his philanthropic activities, and his public apologies as evidence of genuine growth and change.
It's a classic debate.
It is.
Redemption versus accountability. Can someone truly change?
Right.
And how do we even measure that change?
Yeah, how much should past actions factor into our judgment of someone's present character?
Those are tough questions to answer, and they become even more complex
Right.
when you're dealing with a public figure like 6ix9ine. His life is constantly under a microscope,
Yeah,
with every move dissected and scrutinized by the media and the public.
for sure.
Makes you wonder about the price of fame.
Absolutely. The scrutiny, the pressure, the lack of privacy, it's got to be a heavy burden.
Yeah.
Especially for someone already dealing with a complicated legal situation in personal life.
Yeah.
Seems like the drama never really ends.
And let's not forget that 6ix9ine's story also touches on
Huh.
some larger societal issues.
Absolutely.
His involvement with gangs sheds light on the realities of that world,
Yeah.
the allure, the dangers, and the cycle of violence that can be incredibly difficult to escape.
Oh, for sure.
And his cooperation with the authorities brings up some really tough questions
Right.
about switching the role of law enforcement in certain communities
Mhm.
and the choices people make when they're caught in the middle of all that.
At the end of the day, Tekashi 6ix9ine's journey reflects so many of the challenges and contradictions
Yeah.
we see in society today. It's a story about ambition, betrayal, the allure of fame,
Right.
and the struggle for redemption in a world where online reputations are everything and forgiveness can be hard to come by.
So as we rack up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what do you think are the key takeaways for our listeners? What can we learn from this roller coaster of a story?
I think one of the most important things to remember is that life is rarely like black and white. People are complex, capable of both good and bad.
Right.
Judging someone solely on their past can sometimes blind us to the nuances of their present journey.
It's a good reminder that we should always strive to be critical thinkers, especially in this age of information overload.
Hmm.
We need to evaluate sources, consider different viewpoints, and resist the urge to jump to conclusions.
Yeah, and above all, I think the story emphasizes the importance of empathy. Whether you love 6ix9ine, hate him, or simply can't look away, his experience is a human one, and it's a story that will continue to generate discussion and debate for years to come.
And there you have it, folks, another deep dive complete.
That's right.
It's been a wild ride exploring the latest chapter in the Tekashi 6ix9ine saga. Who knows what twists and turns await us in the future?
I know.
But one thing is certain, we'll be here to break it all down, examining the legal battles, the societal impact, and the human stories that make this case so compelling. So, until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep.